welcome to another episode of Passing Time with Craig, where we're currently social distancing with Craig. I'm your host, as always, Craig McFarland, and today I am joined by the founder and owner of OHMY Apparel, Duncan. Hey, Duncan.
Hey, Craig, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thanks for being here. So we've got lots to talk about. So OHMY Apparel stands for Out Hustle My Yesterday, which I just think is great. First of all, how did you come up with that name?
Yeah. I get that question a lot. Originally, when I decided I wanted to start another brand, I had written out OHMY because if you listen to the like the top 10 on SportsCenter and stuff, you'll hear a lot of the announcers when a guy makes a great play, they're very excitedly saying, "Oh my!"
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, I'm making a brand for athletes. This is what I want to call it. But I knew that I needed something a little bit deeper than just writing "OHMY" on a T-shirt and hoping that it would sell like Nike or Adidas kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I went back to my high school art days where I wrote OHMY at the top of my sketchbook, and I just brainstormed for the next kind of 5 minutes and just let my mind flow. And I came up with Out Hustle, and then I was stuck on the MY part.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out what could Y stand for. And I was just texting with my good buddy Corey back home in Winnipeg, and he's like, "What if you used my yesterday?" And he said, "Sleep on it. Like, I don't want to step on any toes." Like, and I just texted him back. I said, "That's it.
Yeah.
Out Hustle my yesterday. It's perfect. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct when people try to say it, but it's what we do as athletes is try to be better than yesterday." And that was kind of a nice compact way to work it out. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. So this company was established in 2017, and I mean, so there's hats, there's shirts, there's bracelets, there's stickers, there's lots going on. But I think what's cool is that you managed to do one of those things, which is something I strive for all the time, is bringing together so many of your passions. Like, you are an athlete and you grew up playing sports, but you also love to draw, and you were all about, like, you mentioned, like, you brought your sketchbook with you on those long road trips to different games. So you managed to bring so many passions together. Like, how did that come to be?
Yeah. Well, I had another, like, when I was finishing my university degree, I have a degree in marketing. And when I was finishing that, I tried starting another brand. The long and short of it, I was trying to be the LRG for athletes. And so I called it GFI. It was growing from idea, and just trying to make the connection was a little bit tough. And when you explained it to people, they got it and they kind of said, like, "Oh, that's cool." But you had to explain it to everybody. And it was like, "Hey, do you have 5 minutes? If you have 5 minutes, I'll sell you a shirt. You'll be a customer for life. If you don't, well, I'll probably never see you again." And so that was kind of like my version of a case study or kind of just a way to try something out while I was still in school. It didn't cost a lot, and it taught me a bunch of stuff. And in doing that, it showed me that it was possible, but that it needed some refinement. And so then I went and worked a few different jobs, and I had one where I was selling landscape supplies in Lethbridge, and you don't sell a bunch in the winter.
No, not really.
So I had a lot of time where you just you're sitting there and you're waiting for a customer, and you're kind of sketching on a little pad and send an email to another customer and sketch something on a pad. And I just kept kind of brainstorming and said to myself, like, I have this time, let's really nail down what this could be.
Yeah.
And so it had to be for athletes, and it had to allow me to kind of put some unique art on shirts and initially just shirts, and see what I could come up with. And so I really spent a couple winters, not just at work, but at home too, and really trying to hammer that down. And then just kind of really tested it out with some close friends that I knew would give me honest opinions, and said, like, I think I want to do this, and like, I think there's a market, and kind of, I'm going to give it a shot. And a lot of them said, yeah, for sure. And I mean, Wix, you can build a site without paying for it. So I had built that in the background and brought in some of my graphic knowledge. And my dad's a graphic designer, so I had he's the one that really taught me that kind of stuff. But I had that knowledge, and so I built this all, and I kind of said, like, hey, this looks legit. Let's launch it and kind of see what happens. And then the response was just so great right from the beginning that really helps, right? When you get that first little taste of like, okay, somebody wants this, and like,
Yeah.
we're ordering that aren't like your next door neighbor or your best
Yeah.
friend, and you go like, oh, okay, let's keep this rolling, right? And so that really helped to kind of solidify that you can combine a few of your passions and really see some success with it.
Yeah. Well, and it's a scary thing, trying, it's always scary trying something new, but like trying something big like this, what kind of advice would you give to those other people who think about, they've got these dreams of entrepreneurship and they've got this business idea? Like, what would you give them?
I mean, it sounds cliche, but you just start it. Like, I started in 2017 and I still had my job at Site One, and Joel and Brian and Griff were the three other guys that I worked with, and they were great. And like, I would get deliveries, my printers in Medicine Hat, and I had a truck that we used for Site One that would bring me stuff too. And it'd be like, you paid the guy cash and he gave you the box, and then a couple more boxes came, and then some days you had more stuff on the truck than Site One did in the slower times, and you just kind of started it. And sorry, Joel, I guess I'll buy you lunch, like if you're a little bit upset about so many boxes coming in. And just to start it, because then you really like, then I started seeing that success, and then it creeps into your day job, and you go, oh, if it's going to be this much time, maybe I could do it on my own. And then in 2019, when I did, it was like, okay, you've built a bunch of those connections. And then when you just kind of, it's not asking for a handout, I wouldn't say, but you just let people know, right? By saying to somebody, you say to your college coach, hey, I'm going out on my own, I'm doing this. And he goes, okay, well, we'll get custom shirts for our team.
Yeah.
Let a couple other people know they're coaches of hockey teams and stuff. And they go, well, like, we don't mind supporting you because you've made a quality product and you're a good guy, right? So it's not too much of a stretch to try to support somebody like that, right? So I think you got to just start, and you have to stay true to what it is that you like. If it works, why not stay true to what you want to do, so that if it does work, you're not doing something that you didn't want to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
like,
and you touched on a few important points. Like you mentioned earlier, those people that you trust, that you could get some honest feedback from. Like, that's important. And you also went after the people that made sense. Like, because this is all about like post-game apparel and all about sports, you went after coaches. You weren't going to, a teacher or a doctor and be like, hey, what do you think of this product?
Yeah, absolutely. And the wristbands have been a great thing too, because I've kind of, you hit it from both sides. So I go and I talk to the coaches and I tell them about this post-game apparel stuff, but then I'm giving the kids these wristbands. And so now the kids are going to their coach and going like, hey, have you seen the new OHMY stuff? We need to get gear. We need to get gear. And sometimes I have coaches email me that are just like, hey, like, my kids are wearing me out. Like, I guess we're getting something. I just go, okay, like, sweet, let's do it, kind of thing, right? But so it kind of works both ways, where you just, and then you bring in the pro athlete side, and now you kind of are able to market it from a couple different ways, and just trying to build that community.
Yeah, and you we mentioned their custom apparel. Like, it's just a minimum order of like 24 pieces, but people can work with you to create a design that has the OHMY Apparel logo on it, but also has that team stuff on it.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I love doing that. It's a really fun way to kind of bring in the Out Hustle My Yesterday idea, and that's what a lot of coaches and teams are striving for, right? Like, the players are all like, doesn't matter if you're 12 or 21, like, when you're in it, that's your most important season, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so working with them, working with teams to bring in a little bit of what's their slogan or what's their calling card that year, and then some OHMY style is a lot of fun. And yeah, it's only 25 shirts or 24 shirts, kind of thing. And so, I mean, you have a team of 12, we do a shirt and a hoodie, and now the kids get 2 pieces of gear, and away you go. And so, yeah, it's been really successful.
Yeah, and it's nice to have, I've mentioned the word a few times already, post-game apparel, like, because it's for when you're after the tournament or the game, or you're just relaxing, you're just going out with friends, but you still want to rep. And, like, there's oftentimes there's always like the one people think about, there's always those like nice team jackets But you can't always wear that everywhere. But a nice shirt, like a t-shirt, you can wear lots of places.
Totally. Yeah, I really, I mean, somebody could probably fact check it and find it somewhere else, but I really wanted to coin something because I was trying to say like it's off ice or it's off field or it's off, and I went like, well, it's post game, and yeah, you can wear it pregame, but it's post game. Like I want to be the shirt that the athlete throws on after their game that still speaks to, hey, I'm still the underdog, or I'm still the guy that's working hard, and like, yeah, the game's over, but I'm going to go home and have a good meal and get a good night's sleep so that I get up early tomorrow and grind again and keep working kind of thing. And or something that you can wear to the party or wear out to school and that kind of thing that shows that you're an athlete and that we like that, because that's something that a lot of people are proud to identify with. And but also it's comfortable and it looks good, and hopefully it feels good and lasts for a while. And that's kind of been the big thing, is you have to have something that feels good and lasts, but then also looks good and can help identify who you are a little bit.
Yeah. No, and I love it. Like, I'm not an athlete. Anybody who knows me knows I'm not an athlete. But, you know, I've gotten really into running, and that's something I really enjoy. And I feel great after I run, and I feel proud of myself. Like, back in November, I went and did to California. I did a 5K and then a 10K. And I've never ran a 10K before, but I managed to do it under an hour. And so, you know, it was Universal Studios, and they gave you these, like, shirts that have, like, 10K on it. And so I still wear them because I'm proud of it. But one of the things that OHMY mentions, and you've got shirts that represent it, is the big three. And keep pounding, trust the process, and compete with confidence. And I think what I love about those and what I love about the stuff is it's true for any dream, whether you want to be an actor or singer or hockey player. Like, I think they work fantastic. So those are three great things. Like, I don't know how you came up with those, but it's fantastic.
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree with you. I think I draw a lot of inspiration from sports, obviously, but like I grew up as a hip hop fan, so hip hop culture and sneaker culture, and just that idea of really working towards something, right? And not letting somebody tell you that your dream's too big or that you won't make it or that kind of thing. And so, I mean, for me, I was a smaller kid from Winnipeg that I wanted to play basketball. And then, I mean, eventually you're 5'9", like that dream dies eventually, but you fall in love with baseball and other sports and like just that idea that you keep working and good things will happen. And I was fortunate enough to play in college but I have other buddies that, like, you're an athlete and then you take that mentality and now you are really like Jeff, right? You're a really good magician now all of a sudden. And you go, like, that guy works his butt off at his craft. And I'm really, like, you think about the quotes you see from Denzel about how hard he works and he still goes to acting school and that kind of thing. And so I do think it transfers, and you won't always be a quote unquote athlete at the highest level, right? So if this helps kids to kind of create that mindset and that work ethic, and then eventually somebody takes the jersey away from you, but you go, well, I can be successful doing whatever the next kind of step is, right? And so if that works for some kids as they grow up and they stop playing sports, then I've kind of contributed something pretty cool to society a little bit, and that's important to me too. So
Totally. No, I think it's fantastic. And that compete with confidence is, you talk about the lion. What does that look like for you, and what does it mean to people? What do you tell people about finding that lion within?
yeah, so I'll go back. I'll tell you a little. When I was my first year at the Prairie Baseball Academy in Lethbridge, so it's a junior college program, blue collar. You go there, you work hard. They teach you that amongst a whole host of things, but really it's about work ethic. And you hopefully go there for 2 years, and then they send you on to a school in the States, kind of thing, a 4-year program. And so my first year there, I was scared, but I had the work ethic, but I was scared. And college baseball and in the spring, and we were struggling. And one day, our Coach Hubka he got mad at us on a Saturday. We played like garbage. And on the Sunday morning, he came and he had a list for all the starters, and it was an honest list. And he went down the list and he went, so-and-so, you don't do this right. You need to get better at this. And he came to me and he just said, Duncan, he said, you're afraid to succeed. He said, it's not the failure part that you need to work work on it. It's that you're worried about what happens if this all works out. You work hard and then you have success. What's going to happen? And so from that, like that has stayed with me. That's 10 years ago, and that stayed with me. And that's really where that compete with confidence came from. It's, you've put in the work. Now it's time for fun. Like you go out there and you don't think about it anymore. And you really do unleash the beast, as I've written in there. Right. And it's like, you just like, it's okay to be the best, or it's okay to be really good because you put in that work. And so like that stuck with me from whether I'm playing pickup basketball now or like working on a design or just anything in life like that. It's what happens if it does work out. Like it's okay to be good at something.
Yeah.
Put in that work. So that's where that one comes from. Yeah.
I mean, I think more people can relate to that than they probably realize. Like, because that is not something that you hear or you think is okay. And yeah, it's scary. Like, you know, what if all your dreams came true? What if what you worked hard for actually happened?
Yeah, absolutely. It really is. It's not about being cocky. It's really, it's, you've put in the work. Like it's okay to be good. It's okay to be smart. It's okay to have a good idea. It's okay to be funny. It's okay, like any of those things, right? Or it's okay to be the best guy that goes and drops 40 points or that has a 3-for-4 day or whatever. And yeah, so yeah.
No, that's awesome. So I want to talk about a couple of your products. First of all, I'm not a dad, but I'm about to turn 30. So I don't know how I feel that I'm more drawn to these dad hats as opposed to the snapback. So I was like, well, those are the type of hats I like.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I
the
think
kids were calling for it, honestly. Like the amount of kids that would message me on Instagram or just that I would see around and be like, when are you coming out with a dad hat? And I was like, what the heck are these things? Like, these are the ones that you guys wear backwards with the strap hanging out. And I was like whatever. And then, but now I'm wearing it and like I put it on. I was like, man, these are comfy. Like now I realize what my dad wore them growing up. Like
exactly, it's what they wore. And then all of a sudden came this era of the snapbacks and
yeah.
But it was like, this is totally what I like. So I think that's fantastic. And then, yeah, so you've got shirts and tanks and long sleeves. How often, like there's a bunch of, people can actually see stuff that are retired or out of stock. How often do you update styles?
So I had like in my head when I first started, I was like, okay, it's going to be spring, summer, fall, winter. Like you just hit the quarters. Like that's what the fashion industry is all about. So this is what you do. Then I did a little more research into it, more listening to some podcasts of some brands and people that I kind of respect and look up to in the industry. And they kind of said like, it's 2019, 2018. Like that's not what we do anymore. You just kind of release stuff whenever you feel like it.
Yeah.
And certain reasons, like it's our birthday or it's the summer or it's some big event sports wise that we want it to coincide with and that kind of thing. But I kind of every couple months, I would say I try to, I keep my stock low and I don't always bring back stuff. Like if it sells out, it sells out. I want those return customers to be able to find something new. And then I just have a bunch of ideas I want to show off and kind of try and keep pumping out new stuff to one, kind of hit on the trends and stay current with the kids and your audience. But also it's just, for me, it's about sharing those different ideas. Like the amount of, if money wasn't an issue, the amount of stuff in my sketchbook with ideas that on sports cliches and different sayings that I want to come up with. And then even yesterday I wrote something on Instagram and I was like, ooh, yeah, cut from a different cloth. Like I need to come up with something for that. Right. So now that goes at the top of a page in the sketchbook and you'll just work through that and see kind of what comes with it from it. And
are you one of those people who, yeah, it just comes to you and all of a sudden, I got to write this down. I got to draw this. Like, you know, you're watching TV or whatever it is. And you're like, where's my notebook?
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be something happens. I was talking to a class the other day before everybody was sent home and I said something and I was like, ooh, that's a good one. And all the kids are like, did he just come up with that idea? And it's like, yeah, like just hang on a second, guys. I'm going to write that on the side of the board so I don't forget. Like it really is. It happens organically that way. I'm really excited for the 10-part thing on the Jordan Bulls and their last three-peat that ESPN is dropping, because I'm like, I'm just going to watch that and be a student of the game and see kind of what can come from that and what that sparks in my mind. And there's not many live sports to watch right now. There's a Korean baseball league, I think, but that's about it. So it's like you want to watch some of those things and gather some inspiration and just see what comes from it, and not put the pressure on yourself. Like, I don't sit down at 9 o'clock on a Monday and say, we need 5 ideas. It just doesn't happen like that.
There seems to be people who think that you have to, like, whether you're a writer or whatever you may be, they feel like you need to sit down, like you have to allot this time and be like, from 9 to 10:30, you are there at your desk doing this stuff. But that's not how creative juices really work.
Yeah, no, I've found that yes, it's important to go and sit in your office and close the door and get something done. Obviously, I mean, you have to, there's a lot of things that come with running your own company, but it's certainly like, I've found that if I clear a lot of other things off the plate, then that'll leads to the creativity. So instead of saying, okay, first thing, it's got to be the creative stuff, it's like, well, maybe you go mail the orders, maybe you clean up the office, maybe you check your inventory and make sure it's all good, and then you're going like, oh, well, hang on, I haven't seen a red shirt in a long time, so now I've got some ideas flowing, and kind of go from there. And then you just block time out. But when the creative juices start flowing, it's like you kind of do have to be selfish and put the phone away, and I just turn on my music, and in the sketchbook you go. And yeah.
So I have to ask about a certain shirt that has been retired, and I would love it if it comes back, because I'm assuming, I feel like it's a Space Jam reference, and it's the Mike's secret stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mike Soroka is another Calgary, he's a Calgary kid, and I can say kid because I'm 32 and he's 22 and he's in the big.
Yeah.
So he's 21. I don't even know if he's 22 yet. I think he's 21 years old, MLB All-Star last year with the Atlanta Braves. And I reached out to him when he was in AA. We connected. He liked the message of the shirt. He's a kid that's worked hard, obviously, to get to where he is at that age. And so I said to him, like, I want to do a custom shirt for you, and let's work together on something. And yeah, being the kind of student of the game I am with the culture and stuff, I went, hey, like, Mike's secret stuff from Space Jam, let's create one for you, bring in some elements. So the extra Ks are how you mark strikeouts in a baseball game.
Right.
Then the plate is the kind of the play off the Looney Tunes circle, but it's a plate for him as a pitcher. And then he's a Team Canada guy, so we brought in some Team Canada elements. And yeah, that one was a lot of fun to make. And then it didn't sell as well as I thought, because I think I was early on it. Like, not as many people knew about him. He was just making his debut.
Right.
I didn't have it for the All-Star year. 2 weeks later, Mike Trout's holding a bottle of juice with Mike's secret stuff written on it, and I'm going like, hey, we just did this. Like, where's all the press from it or whatever? And you hope that you catch lightning in a bottle with some of that stuff and get your viral moment or whatever. But it didn't happen. But a bunch of people did support and get the shirt, and Mike's got it. And we're looking at trying to do another one when baseball resumes. But absolutely, that's a Space Jam reference all the way.
I knew it, and I was like, this is amazing. Why isn't this still available? But like, how often, and I guess and this is something, speaking to other entrepreneurs or who might be listening to this or want to be entrepreneurs, you kind of have to be prepared for those moments, the ones that you think are going to be huge hits and aren't, and then be happily surprised when the ones that you're like, yeah, that's a decent one, and not all of a sudden that's the biggest seller, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It really, I've had two, the Mike Secret stuff one, and then the Sandlot tee. I did another one that was
the Sandlot one as well.
Yeah, a little home plate on the front, and the back is a big number 3 for Babe Ruth, and then it's got all the different, the Salt Swat, the King of Crash, the Colossus of Cloud, like all these things, right? The quote from the movie. I did it for a team. It worked out great. They loved it. I thought, like, everybody loves it. Everybody's saying this is great. You release it, and then it flops, right? And you look at it, and you have to say, like, did I market it poorly? Should I have kind of made a little mini video about it and really explained it? For a long time, I didn't want to kind of put my face out there and do the whole talking to the camera thing. So I was like, maybe I didn't explain it properly, or people didn't really get it. And then, yeah, you have some that you think they're good, but then they sell out really quick, and people are like, man, I wish you had more of those. And you go, well, yeah, me too. Like, I would have loved to sell more of those things. And you kind of put those in your notebook and in your toolbox and say, okay, why did this sell better than the other one? What are people really, on a hoodie, they're looking for a big logo, or on a shirt, you can't explain that much to them, or something like that. Right. And you just try to learn from them, but also trust your gut, and don't be afraid to try them. Like, I still look at those, and people like you and other people have messaged me and like, man, if you ever bring this one back, I'll get it. And you're like, okay, like, I'm going to start a list. And when this gets to a certain number, like, we're dropping it or something,
Yeah.
right? Bring it back. And then we're going to message all of you and say, hey, like, let's go.
You wanted this, you're getting it. Well,
Yeah,
exactly. I would definitely, and the Sandlot. That was the other one that I was like, is this for the movie? And I loved it, because those movies are fantastic, both of them, and they're ones that we all grew up with. So, one thing I really love about your website, and that I wish more companies did it, like a clothing site, because people get hesitant about ordering stuff online because you can't try it on. But below the photo of each person who's modeling the shirt, it tells you, it says this female or male is this height and this weight and is wearing this size shirt. I just thought that was like genius.
Mm-hmm. I borrowed that from somebody, or learned it from another site. There's a few out there that do it, and I thought exactly what you said. I went like, I would order a shirt from somebody that if I could kind of compare it and say, well, I'm that size, or I'm a little bit bigger or smaller, or message the brand and say like, hey, how does this fit, kind of thing. But yeah, it might have been Routine Baseball or LRG. Somebody did it, and I was like, yeah, it's a good idea. So
I thought it was great. So keep that. So if people are wondering, they can go on and they click on it, and they can see they can compare themselves and figure out what would work for them, which I think is great. And then you also have one of the things you've got on there that I think is cool. If people really like the big three that we mentioned earlier, you guys have a 3-pack of shirts that people can get, one shirt for each of the big three.
Yeah. So I'm the Team OHMY thing to me is big, like, because that's me and my buddy Steve, and we were having a business meeting one day at OJ's, and we just were talking, and he was like, man, what if we did like we put 3 shirts in a package, and it was like a basic tee pack, and you didn't have to put a big logo on it, because the first ones that I did were just a little logo, and now I tried one that was big, and it worked out too. But it was like, what if you could get 3 shirts for a good value, and then you kind of mock the like Fruit of the Loom 3-packs that your dad used to buy or something, and just kind of play it up like that and say like, hey, you can get 3 shirts. You get 3 different meanings with it, a little bit of a discounted rate, but you still get the quality of an OHMY shirt. And that one's been a really fun, that's the 3rd 3-pack that I've released. And that's kind of a fun one. Like, it's fun to ship out, because you're like, yeah, they're getting 3 shirts, like 3 different ones, different days, whatever they need, they can rock it. And yeah, that's been a fun project to release, and definitely Steve deserves a little credit. He came up with the idea.
We'll give him some credit, right? Just a little bit.
Yeah. I did the art, but he had some idea.
Exactly. And you guys ship within Canada and the US, right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. I've shipped a few things to Germany too. I got a buddy out there that I used to play baseball with, and he's out there, and he's spread the word, and a few every once in a while I get an order that pops up for Germany, and yeah, I think I lose on shipping on that one for sure, but it's all good.
But your stuff's going to Germany, like that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, the world's kind of crazy right now, but even before all this, I'm a huge supporter of supporting local, and I think it's going to be more important now more than ever to support Canada and Alberta, and I think it's great what you're doing. What would you tell people who still don't seem to really know or understand the importance of supporting local?
Yeah, I mean, that's your baseball coach, that's the guy, whatever, who shovels your walk, that's the neighbor that you say hi to, kind of thing, right? Like, those are the stories and like the people that are really valuable to communities, and the guy that sets up the barbecue at your kid's school because he doesn't have to work a typical 9-to-5 job for a big corporation or something, right? And he or she is able to say like, yeah, I can come on that field trip, or I can do this. And it's just, I really, 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 really respect those people when you look around and you go like I coach baseball too. And so a lot of the parents, you start learning and you go like, man, that's that mechanic that you take your stuff to and you can trust him. And that's George who owns Madison's, and Schooners or whatever. Right. And you just go like, these are the people that make these communities what they are. And sometimes we get caught up in what's the cheapest or what's the fastest shipping or what's the flashiest thing or the new Yeezys or whatever. Right. And it's like, well, but going down to your local pub or ordering that local blanket for the new baby in your family or the shirt for an athlete and you get a note from me, or you're able to message me and I answer back, right? Like, it's like,
it's important.
I think like you're getting hey, we're going to respond in 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't been in bed yet, I'm probably answering. Like, just, yeah.
And you have a small child, so you're not really sleeping much anyways. Yeah, so I mean, it's great to support local, especially in this time. I would say I wanted to ask you, this is what I'm starting to ask the guests. You know, people got a lot of free time on their hand. What's a show or movie that you suggest people be watching?
Oh, man, besides Tiger King, because everybody watch that.
That's what everybody's saying. Besides Tiger King, I would say honestly, I'll go back to the so it's since we're in Canada, next Monday I think Netflix is dropping them. It's called The Last Dance. It's a 10-part 30 for 30, so it'll be very well done on the Jordan 98 Bulls. Right.
For those for people who aren't big basketball fans, that was their second three-peat. So they won 3. He retired. He tried his hand at baseball for 2 years. He came back. They won 3 more titles. They were arguably the most dominant team in the last 50 years that we've seen. I caught the tail end as a kid, but I think for a lot of kids that see guys switching teams all the time now, like, it's just a bit of a throwback. And a bunch of guys that really just wanted to win. And you're going to see that in this documentary, I think. So that one I'm really looking forward to.
People love him. There's a reason why he's still so talked about and so loved.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you'll see a different side of him. I think you'll see how crazy competitive he was, but you don't win as much as he did without kind of having to make some of those sacrifices. So,
yeah. No, I think that'll be a good one to watch. And I mean, like mentioned earlier, you can't really watch any sports.
Totally, yeah.
So
yeah.
This is a good way to do it. I watched Remember the Titans the other day. I was like, I mean, it's a great movie, but it's like, this is what we're doing for sports now. You just watch the clock.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way you got to do it. Well, Duncan, I thank you so much for being on here today. I think your stuff's great. I love it. People can go on to teamohmy.com and just order right from the site there. Everything's on there. Or if they want to check out some stuff as well, you guys are on Instagram at OHMY_apparel, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Facebook as well is.
Yeah, we're on Facebook and Twitter. It's pretty easy to find. You got lots of time to search those now these days. So yeah.
People are giving up after 3 seconds.
Yeah.
No, your stuff is great. I think it's fantastic. So thank you again for being on here today.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate coming on and getting to chat with you, Craig. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Check out the stuff, OHMY_apparel on Instagram. If you get some stuff, tag them in it and you might be featured. Who knows?
Absolutely. We always 100%.
There you go. I saw people got stuff from the Easter Bunny, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Easter Bunny didn't get me anything.
No, me neither. You missed me.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Duncan. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, guys, at PTW Craig, or like us on Facebook at Passing Time with Craig, and we'll chat soon.